this afternoon, Arkansas seeing an increase today of 637 COVID-19 cases, bringing the overall state total to more than 307,000. Active cases, though, fell by more than 1,000 today, now stand at 15,320, while another 30 deaths were reported in the state, bringing that number up above 5,100.
And hospitalizations across the state have been falling. They fell by 4. Statewide, 777 people are in the hospital. 142 are on ventilators. And in other parts of the state, the River Valley has the most COVID-positive patients with 109. 59 patients are receiving care in Northwest Arkansas hospitals.